Okay, and welcome back again, Jim and Paul and Jennifer. I don't know what's happening with Jennifer, but we're gonna go ahead and continue. And so this is gonna be the first part of our meeting, a Q&A. So I'm gonna go ask Jim a question, and then you get to ask Paul. Okay. So
Okay.
Jim, I know that you are very busy as a business coach. How is that? How are you able to manage your program, your clients, and your business networking group where you can fit in Fire Up Connect as part of your program?
That's a really good question. My business is, I don't know, the word dynamic comes to mind. I meet with my clients when they want to meet primarily, right? And so that may be Monday morning at 8, it may be Tuesday afternoon at 3. And occasionally, so I do one-on-one coaching with many of my clients, and then I have group programs or courses. So I'll be talking about one of those a little bit later. And the courses, they're typically, say every other Thursday at 4 or every Wednesday at 3, like that. So
Okay.
I have to pack the rest of my schedule in around that. And it was a few weeks ago that you asked me, well, what Tuesday do you have available?
Yes.
And I looked and I said, oh, March 29th. And so I blocked out that chunk of time, and here we are.
Okay. You're aware that we have a Friday 11 a.m. and I know that you have a meeting on that Friday too, right?
Yes, I have a standing meeting
Yeah.
on Fridays at
So
11.
I'm just trying to figure out how that would work with your schedule when we have our regular meeting on Tuesday at 3, unless you were talking about doing an in-person again. So that's what
Mm,
you mentioned earlier.
mm, mhm,
Okay. All
mm.
right. Well, that was my question, Jim.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So you get to ask question. I think I'm sure Paul is the only one because Jennifer is not available right now.
Excuse me. Well, I know a little bit about Jennifer's company because I know John Ellero. So I'll ask Paul. I see that your label there says Metro Properties Holding Company LLC. Tell me a little bit about what you not just what you do, but tell me a little bit about your business and yourself in a way that has me get really connected with who you are as a person.
Fantastic. Great question, Jim, of course. Well, I grew up in this industry. It started when I was a little boy. My dad and my uncle, they were general contractors in San Francisco. And at that time, real estate was fairly reasonable. So what they focused in is buying lots in San Francisco, older homes, either flipping them and investing more in lots. And my uncle did very, very well. He was a bona fide builder. My dad just he did well too, but he loved life, my dad. But and anyway, and so I grew up with this industry. And then their sister, my aunt, she was a real estate broker in San Francisco, and she had her office on one of San Francisco's longest streets, Mission Street. I don't know if you're familiar with San Francisco, but anyway, so I literally grew up in it. I mean, my dad would take me to his projects, or if he had a house, and sometimes as I got older and I loved to play sports in the summertime, I would work with him. And there were times, come summertime, he'd tell me that I have to go to work with him. Sometimes I would dread it, but then now looking at it, it was great training. And then I served my apprenticeship both in the Carpenters Union and I was very fortunate. I had a private apprenticeship through the Local 6 electrical union in San Francisco. San Francisco is a very strong union city. And I went out on my own. I became a general contractor at a young age, and I followed suit with my dad and my uncle. I bought a couple of lots, one in Lake Tahoe, which really good return on investment there, because I have cousins up in the Truckee area. And so real estate's always been part of my life. And then as I got older, and then I was going to school to I liked architecture and business, so my college and university studies were in both those. But I still had my business, and I just went full tilt. I went out my junior year, and I never looked back. It was great. I've been in business all these years, had the experience of going through those ups and downs. And so to hear 35 years after, I moved, well, I came out here to give a friend a hand out in New Mexico back fourth quarter of 2010, right when the economy, the Great Recession was, feeling the pains and trying to come out of it. And so I came here and I saw this area and I couldn't believe my eyes. Where in the world in the United States are you going to see vacant lots on their busy boulevard, their main streets? And so that's really what intrigued me as far as commercial property and lots. And so I have both the licensing and real estate broker, and two with my construction background. And so I started to see, hey, well, this is a great opportunity. And so what I did is at that time, I sold my place out in California, and I came out here and didn't look back, and then kept my hand on the pulse out here. Pulte and D.R. Horton are the big major builders, but I was focusing on the construction development. So one thing led to another. I attended a lot of the NAIOP meetings, and I noticed that there was something in common in those NAIOP meetings, both in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, that a lot of the young ones, the young graduates from the university, were leaving, but they didn't want to leave because this is an enchanting place. It's very beautiful out here. And so that's what really got me more interested in trying to do something. Because at the end of the day, I could sell real estate, but what's my purpose, right? What's my drive? So this is what's compelling me to be part of a huge, undertaking where I'm promoting the Civic Center Plaza of Rio Rancho. And so this coming Monday, we have a meeting with the city and with the architect. And so every other Thursday, I have investor meetings throughout the United States and internationally. And so that's what about, that's my life as a businessman and broker and construction general contractor and electrical contractor. I just came from a family that introduced this to me, and I just fine-tuned it through education and being on business on my own.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
That's awesome.
But thank you for asking. I'm glad you think it's awesome. Sometimes I think, what am I doing? And is this ever going to come to fruition? But no, I've had some great times. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Paul, you get to ask me a question because it looks like Jennifer is still not available.
Okay, yeah, she's not. Okay. So Marie, tell us a little bit more about your family and karate. I remember in San Francisco with Bruce Lee movies, we'd go to the theater, and when the theater would leave, it'd end, all you'd see was just teenagers coming out and young people doing karate moves. But talk to me about this. I think this is so interesting.
It's a lot of it is watching the movies with my dad and my uncle. And I was still I think I was a teenager, and experiencing some of the people around us, because when they were making the movies, we would be in the theater, and they're like all this actors that are in the action movies. They were all there, and it's really crazy to be around that. But the story is really about my grandfather, creating that legacy. And my uncle and my dad were teaching karate. They had a gym in the Philippines, and my mom actually was also a student, and she was the only female that was my grandfather was teaching. So he ended up teaching my mom for a trade, and she started teaching, kind of helping out in the gym, teaching everybody, because she wasn't it was more of a trade, because plus she's the only female. So she became a black belter, the first female black belter in the Philippines. And then she ended up working for Shiseido, she went to Japan because she was sponsored by the company, and she ended up uh, going there for 2 years. But she went to see the karate in Japan. So and then when she came back, it's pretty established with the karate gym. And when she came back, my dad ended up, seeing my mom again. Oh my God, my dad fell in love with my mom because
Yeah, who wouldn't, right? Have a beautiful karate woman.
it
Wow,
became
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, but my mom didn't really see anything about it. I think it was my uncle who had a crush on my mom. And then, but my mom was like a tomboy. She likes to go out and and my dad was visiting all the time. And so what happened is my dad ended up really having a very good relationship with my grandmother on my mom's side. And all of a sudden there's an marriage arrangement
Oh
between
my.
dad and my mom. It's
Dad knew what he was doing.
it was like crazy. So they ended up getting arranged, and my mom it was but they were married for God the longest until my dad passed away. So it was an interesting marriage, because my mom was the first female black belter. She did a lot of exhibition on television for being the first female. And my dad and my uncle really made tons of movies. And there were times that my dad was the leading actor, and sometimes my uncle is mostly the leading actor because he's probably more attractive, look wise. And my dad is
Physically.
like a villain, look. So he's always like playing the
The
bad guy,
villain.
or the support. But my dad was really the one who was teaching a lot of karate, even after all these karate movies. He was teaching the military professionals, teaching so many students. They were coming to our house, and I'm teaching, and my brother was teaching also, because we were part of the training. But I never got a black belt from my dad, or any kind of belt. I just knew what to do with the karate, and we were teaching the students. So that's what we,
Wow.
it was an interesting,
Interesting.
Didn't know
yeah,
any
Probably
of
when
that.
he,
Fascinating.
yeah,
yeah.
probably when he's his age, you could show us some moves, right?
Yeah, you know what? I know the kicks. I can, my mom can actually hurt someone just by going after the focal points of the body.
Oh, I'm sure.
And she told me a story where they were in the bus, and my dad was there, and she was there, and they were getting attacked, and my mom was there, and they were fighting, inside the bus.
Really?
Yeah, and somebody has a knife, and so my mom knew what to do, and my dad was also good because he's a judo. He mastered the judo. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's so many names, but my dad was known for the judo karate, and my mom was really good in her roundhouse kick. She can
Wow.
fly and go to.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, so that's
Thank
the
you.
story. Okay. So now we're gonna move on with Jim's. I think this is gonna be interesting for us to see what Jim is going to present. He's got 7 minutes to do the presentation. So let's go ahead and start with Jim. Oh, there's Jennifer. Jennifer, how?
Guys, I logged in, and then as soon as I did, I had a customer come in. But I'm here now.
Okay, so what? Let me ask you a question. All right, so now that actually you've been attending Fire Connect,
Mhm.
is there anything that you see that could really benefit your company being a part of it?
I mean, just hearing other people's backgrounds, nobody, specifically does what I do, but at the same time, I definitely see a strong sense of community here and, possibilities for sure. So, that's why I keep coming back. So you never
Okay.
know what's going to happen.
All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna ask you one more question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
For personal goal, for you being a part of this company, where do you see yourself being a part of this company?
My personal goal is to make as many possible relationships with customers as I can. You know, for instance, today, the reason why I had to opt out of the meeting and come back in, actually a customer was so happy that she was like put to tears with, you know, everything that we did to help her. So just building a really good customer foundation. I feel like that's the greatest sense of referral service, you know, is a happy customer.
Okay.
So I would say that's my main goal right now.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna move on to Jim now, doing a presentation. And Jim, you're on.
Okay, well, first, congratulations, Jennifer. That's very
Mm.
rewarding, isn't it? Like,
So
you know,
it really is.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you know, what a difference you can
Yes.
make in the lives of people, and to have that, you know, is, you know, like part of what you do, right? Not like a, you know, once in a while thing, but that's
Right,
just,
right.
that's what it's all about. So you're so blessed. All right. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership today, and I'll start with a little bit about, well, why is that important? Well, you know, occasionally in one's life, circumstances thwart our intentions to achieve or sustain the outcomes that we're going for, the outcomes we desire. And it's at these times that leadership, particularly self-leadership, is most needed. And then there's other times when we must gain the support and contribution of others in pursuit of those outcomes, like when we're running a business and we have employees or potential customers or potential affiliate partners, to help us to achieve our vision, not just help, but be part of us achieving our vision. And it's for those reasons that I really endeavored to learn leadership skills. I didn't get into this business. By the way, the name of my company is Effective Action Consulting. And as Marie mentioned, it's business coaching. But for me, it's more about, it's that, but it's from the leadership side, the taking action side, the taking effective action, hence the name of the company. So, and then it really has become, well, don't we need to lead our own way sometimes, especially when, you know, the going gets tough, again, when circumstances seem to conspire against us. So a little bit of some background for me, you know, 20 years ago, I was far from what anyone would call a leader. I hid out, I avoided responsibility, I would tell lies. Worst of all, I felt like a fraud. You know, worried that somebody would find out that I wasn't the person that I pretended to be, that I just didn't have it all together, and just sort of lived in that worry that, which is why I hid, you know. Now I'm a business owner. I play a leadership role in Boy Scouts. I founded and lead a team of people that organize TEDx Temecula, a locally organized TED event. And we've been doing that. This will be our 11th event, our 11th annual event. And you know, perhaps most important of all is I have two sons. I was talking to Marie a little bit about this before the two of you joined. That my youngest just turned 18, and I couldn't be more proud of how both of them turned out. My oldest is an Eagle Scout. He's a sophomore at UC San Diego studying aerospace engineering, and he's just killing it. And my youngest is captain of his lacrosse team in high school and is about to graduate high school. So, you know, I'm not one to brag about my accomplishments, but I think it's important, I think, to set a context for what I'm about to share with you. And what I'm going to share is some of the content from our kind of our premier program. It's called Being a Leader and the Effective Exercise of Leadership. And I'll give you some details about that program at the end if you're interested. It may be what's next for you on your journey. What I'm going to share with you is what are the 4 elements that make up the foundation for leader and leadership. And they are integrity, authenticity, being up to something bigger than yourself, and being cause in the matter. Now I'll go into each of those in a little bit of detail and then summarize it. And now as I go through them, look and see how they can map on to what you're up to in your career and in your life, and even in your extracurricular activities. Like I mentioned, scouting and TEDx are my extracurricular activities. They're volunteer roles. They don't provide any income from me. They're solely volunteer roles. And so see if you can map some of this on there, and to help you make the difference that you want to make, and, you know, to leave your mark on the world. I think we all have a sense that at least at some point in our lives, we get a sense that, you know, there's a legacy to be left here. So I'll start with integrity, and there's many different ways that we can define integrity, and ours is pretty simple. It's doing what you said you would do, doing it on time, and doing it the way that it was meant to be done. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And this applies not only to keeping your promises. I mean, it sounds directly like, doing what you said it would do. I make a promise to do something, I'm going to do it. So it applies not only to the promises you make, but also to the goals that you set, right? Those visions of the future that we want to have happen. Having those, like, what if you treated those as a matter of your word, like a promise to the world that this is what you're going to make happen? Now, certainly in business, we make promises to the marketplace, right? We make promises to our customers once they sign on as a customer or purchase a product from us. We give our word that our service or our product is of high quality and you can count on it, right? That's a matter of integrity. But some, then there's other people who can, it's a stretch for them to barely keep their word to their customers. Many find it hard to keep their promises to themselves, and they rob themselves of the power of being a person of integrity. Integrity is a source of strength. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to surround myself with people I can count on, right? And that's the essence of integrity, is really being someone that others can count on, being someone that you can count on, right? Being you can count on for yourself. What would it look like just to be surrounded by people that you can count on? I know you probably have a strong sense of that already, but if not, then what would it be like? How much more effective could you be? How much more fulfilled could you be? So having integrity be part of the foundation of leadership is it's almost obvious, right? So, is my integrity fully intact all the time? No, it's not. As I've grown, I know the more that I take on, the more that I grow even more. And so when we're venturing out as a leader, sometimes we're not able to keep our promise. So having a method, a way of restoring our integrity when it's been jeopardized or when it's been, sacrificed, or things didn't go the way we wanted it to go, that's critically important to get back to that level of power and effectiveness that we have when we're in integrity. So that's the first element of the foundation of leader and leadership. The second is authenticity. Now, this one gets is a little bit more difficult for people to see because it can seem taken care of. We think I'm authentic, I'm the real person, I'm authentic, but there are times when like this. If you ever said yes and then realized later you probably should have said no, that there was like something else driving the show, right? Like, we want to be admired by people. That gets us into trouble a lot. Not like it's not important to be admired and to be liked, but sometimes getting liked has us do things that are contrary to what we say we're up to, right? So the desire to be admired can sometimes get in the way of telling the truth. And telling the truth ties back into integrity. And so if we're not telling the truth, and I know it doesn't seem like telling the truth, but if we take a look in our lives, where am I not being authentic in terms of playing it safe, wanting to be admired, not wanting to look bad in front of other people, not wanting to let people down? Sometimes that gets in the way. So the path to authenticity is to look at where have I been inauthentic, right? And then get present to the cost of that behavior. Like, I said yes to doing this, and it's going to take away from me doing that, which is really part of my mission, what I stand for. Okay, so take a look at where are you being used by, or where are you being at the, at the effect of, right? Like being admired by people, right? Again, nothing wrong with that, but if that's what's running the show, it can get you into trouble. The third one is being up to something bigger than yourself. If your focus is on your image and on honing and polishing your personality so you can win the blah, blah, blah of the year award, that's fine. I'm all for acknowledgement, but if it's not in service of something beyond your own fame and fortune, then you won't be a leader. Right now we're vetting speakers for TEDx Temecula, which is in September. And every year people apply to promote their speaking career, to promote their book, or because it's on their bucket list, is to give a TED talk, right? So, and it's a real turnoff compared to the people who are truly up to changing the world in some way, or changing some aspect, the way we deal with some challenge that we all that we all face. And those people really inspire me and want me, and it makes me want to support them. It's like they become the leader and I want to follow them by helping them get that 15 minutes on stage to make that difference, to the people in the audience, but then later through the power of video around the world. Those are people who are up to something bigger than they are. And by the way, that can mean something bigger than what their history tells them they are. Like, person I was 20 years ago would not have put on and organized a TEDx event and then had a string of them, all these 11 years. So people are drawn to people who are up to something bigger than themselves. There's like an attraction there. People are drawn to leaders like that, or to people like that. You can probably see people in your own life that you're drawn to them because they have a vision for something. There's something about them. It's not just that they're a great speaker or they're a great this or a great that, but there's a quality about them. So being up to something bigger than yourself provides access to that kind of a quality. And then fourth is being cause in the matter. This one may seem obvious when I kind of get into a little bit, but at the same time, it can be elusive. We often find ourselves just the opposite, not at cause, but a phrase I used earlier, but at the effect of circumstances and situations, especially over the last couple of years. And if you go back far enough, or if you keep going back, you'll find places where you have been at the effect of COVID or the government or a union or a this or that or another thing, right? So being cause in the matter starts with the willingness to deal with a situation that you're facing from the view of life that you are the generator of what you do, what you have, and what you are. Let me say that again. Starts with the willingness to deal with a situation from the view of life that you are the generator of what you do, what you have, and what you are. Not that that's the truth, but it's a place to stand. It's an empowering context that leaves you with the power and with having a say in the matter of life. So be on the lookout for, where am I at the effect of the circumstances, and what's a stand that I can take? What can I be responsible for in this situation? It's taking responsibility for the situation. And when you take on responsibility, what comes next is, oh, I need to do this, right? An action comes out of that, something that you may take a stand for out of the circumstances and the conditions that you may be facing in life, or that you will face from time to time in life if you haven't already. So just to briefly summarize the foundation of being a leader and exercising leadership: effective integrity, doing what you said you do; authenticity, recognizing when you're not being used by what's important to you; being up to something bigger than yourself; and being cause in the matter. Again, this is the foundation, but that's where you start. Right. From being in construction, Paul, that, you got to start with the foundation. And I know Marie knows, because Building Solid Foundations is on the wall back there with Steve Matley. Again, that's the foundation. And in the Being a Leader in the Effective Exercise of Leadership course, we then go on to talk about the contextual framework for being a leader, and the perceptual and functional constraints that get in the way of being a leader. Now, just a few details if you're interested. We deliver the course 3 times a year. The next one begins on June 9th. It's 6 full days spread out over a 3-month period. The tuition's $5,500. And if you don't like it after day 1, you can get a full refund. The promise of the course is that you will leave the course being a leader and exercising leadership effectively as your natural self-expression, so that leadership shows up naturally for you, not as something you have to try and accomplish. Okay, so I'll put my information and the link to the website in the chat. And I don't know if there's any time left for Q&A, but I'm happy to ask any questions you have, or work with you to the extent that we can on anything that came up for you while I was sharing those foundational elements.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I wish we had more people to get to watch you, Jim. That was amazing.
Well, thank you. I love my work.
So yeah,
That was amazing.
yeah,
Thank you.
awesome.
Mhm.
Questions. Paul, do you have any questions for Jim?
Oh, I mean, so much. I think you hit it. I think what captivated me, Jim, is when you mentioned something along the lines of, let me see, because I wrote some notes here for sure, but effective action, taking effective action. lead your own way. Sometimes we get to the point where, yeah, we want to do something, but sometimes affect causes us to either say, what am I doing? Or should I go with this? And I love what you said, because there was a saying that I wanted to bring out too, and I have it in one of my files, but definitely a leader is just that. He's the one, or she's the one, that when the majority don't want to get up and go do it, she's the one that does this. And it's always with the cause of why they're doing it, right? It's something bigger than them, and it's not for just them. And I love that. That's where I'm at in my life. It's like, it's when you do something for something. I loved what Jennifer said with her company, that and she gets it, to be of service to people. My mom always told me, be of service, learn customer service. That's fantastic. Anyway, I loved it, Jim.
Well,
Fantastic.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
This is actually a
Glad.
perfect topic, Jim, because this morning I had a situation where my integrity was being put on a spot. And, I've always made sure that I have a boundary around me when it comes to my integrity and my name. And the thing is, when you're working with other people and they're also, trying to they have their own, boundaries around their name and their integrity. If they don't have that set, there's a ripple effect on the people that they're working with. And that's what I was talking to this connection I have, to where if you're not going to be able to create a boundary to protect your integrity, that will be passed on to me, which it will affect me ultimately, and it's going to ruin my name. And I want to work with this person, but if he's not protecting his own name and his own relationship with other people that are not really, that they don't have a good foundation of, respecting his relationship, then that affects other people, affects all his clients. And that's why I was, this is perfect that you have this presentation, because it's good for people to be reminded of how important those are.
Yeah. You made me recall the part about, we want to be surrounded by people that we can count on, right? And it sounds like this particular relationship, you're not sure what you can count on,
Well,
right?
I think part of it is me making sure that I communicate what my boundaries, and that he also needs to set up his boundaries if he wants to work with me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? He might not have that before because of the people that he was working with, or he's just not aware that he needs to do that. So I have to communicate myself very well to the people I'm working with, that this is what I have to protect, what I have to make sure that I have my integrity intact, because I'm going to open it up to you to work with you, but you need to make sure that you're also protecting me. Because if he can't protect my integrity, then I'm not going to be able to continue working with that person. So,
Got it. It's important.
yeah.
It's foundational.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So anyway, let's move on to our next part of our meeting, which is the business share time. This is where we get to share our success story, or a challenge that you're having to deal with, or a specific goal. And you have to give us your specific time frame. Remember this, Jim? Format?
Yes, I do.
All right. So
I'm looking, what am I going to share? Right.
Yeah, I'll start with Paul. And Paul, if you wanted to go ahead and give your share time.
Yeah, let's see. Naturally, this is a big part of my business life. And so this coming Monday, next Monday, we have a big important meeting with the city of Rio Rancho, the architect and myself. And I think that's really what's going to either open up the door, knowing what the city wants, how the city wants to get involved, because all this is city-owned property aside from the privately owned area. And I think that we really want to focus with the city property, because some people might shy away from that, because then some people have this thought, well, wouldn't you want to do it on your own? But I think the older you get and wiser you get, this is where good partnerships come into place. And, to have people good masterminded people on a team, to me, is worth so much. And so what better player than the actual city itself? So I think where we're going to really have an edge on this is we're a little bit different as far as design. We through research and just seeing the times that we're living, I think post-pandemic design is really what's going to be an attraction to this modern city that differs from, say, Albuquerque and Santa Fe, that have older century-old, cultures, which are beautiful, and but they're harder to penetrate when you want to put something in like this. So I think that Rio Rancho is really at a threshold of something big, because their motto, City of Vision, most of their buildings, if they have any commercial buildings, which they hardly don't, the city hall is modern looking. And I think this would fit with their master plan. And we're looking forward to presenting some ideas and talking out, the business details with them this coming Monday.
Awesome. All right.
So
Thank you, Paul. Okay, Jim, your turn.
Okay, well, what comes to mind for me is a goal that I'm at work on, and it seems like it's almost complete. But what it is another course that we have. It's called Mission Control, and it's a productivity course. So people might, it kind of falls into the category of time management, but so it's that kind of thing. It's about making good use of your time. It's about managing the promises that you make, like I was talking about earlier. It's managing your goals and all that there is to do and handle in life in a way that isn't overwhelming, right? To deal with overwhelm. And it's a course that requires a kind of a certification or approval to lead. It's a body of intellectual property that we don't own. And I had made it a goal about a year ago to get certified in this program. And then I didn't make it happen. I didn't keep my word. And now I have re-upped that goal. And I'm one of the aspects of it is delivering it to a group, not for pay, just as a practice session, and then record it and then send it off to the people who approve it. And then they give you the yay or nay and what you need to do to improve if you don't do that. So I've got the dates set up. I'm going to be delivering it for Boy Scouts of America here in Redlands, to our local sort of chat or council, it's called. So really my goal is to not just get certified, but then deliver it inside of an organization to like a team within an organization. Like Boy Scouts would qualify, but actually, a for-profit business that I can derive income from.
Yeah.
So it's been a big deal for me. I mean, I can tool along and, do what I've been doing, but then to reach out and grab onto something like this is very, very tantalizing.
Okay, awesome. So for me, I actually was able to create the second time slot for the Real Men of Real Estate. It will be a Saturday at noon. And I've got 3 gentlemen that are excited. One is a real estate investor. The other one is in the hard money lending. And the other one is God, I'm blanking out. Who was the other one? I've got 3 guys for sure. Anyway, I'm blanking out on the second one, but yeah, we're moving forward with the Saturday noon, and Paul is actually one of my hosts for the Sunday 1 p.m. And he's able to interview the mayor of the city through the radio show, Jim. It was amazing, and he's able to also interview somebody from Temecula who is in the mortgage business. And you're coming up this Sunday, right, Paul?
Yeah. Yes, in fact, that's why I was talking to Jonathan, the attorney,
And Jonathan
because
Preston is the guy that he's interviewing because of the Fire Connect. They were able to meet, and that's how he's able to bring Jonathan to his.
That's great. I know Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
but
to help the public, right? Yes, I'm sorry.
yeah. So, but anyway, talking about the radio show, Jim McLaughlin is a business coach that I've known for many years. And I actually attended his coaching program for 6 months. And to be honest with you, I would have not known his coaching style if I didn't experience it. Because just by talking, and I've known Jim for many years because we always go into the same chamber of commerce and all of that, but I've never really understand his coaching style until he gave me this 6 month coaching, and I got to learn how he does it. And he's actually, during that time, I was running the Fire Up Live seminar, and he was helping me understand what I need to do in order to make it happen. And that was very, very good, actually. And he coaches a lot of real estate professional, by the way, Paul. So that's one thing
Fantastic.
about Jim. I think, Jim, part of it, Jim, is to get to know you. And, this is the first time you've met Paul, and Paul is also wanting to get to know people. He has worked with, he met with all the members here, and sometimes we would have, how many people, Paul, in our meetings? Like, maybe, 5 to 15 people sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's been some awesome meetings. That's why I try to attend every,
Yeah.
week. Actually, this Friday, I'm not going to be able to attend because I have another meeting that's going to interfere with that
But
slot. But
you have not, I think you only missed one meeting of all the
I
time.
think so.
And
Gosh.
and it's been amazing. And today I'm like surprised it's just the three of us, but still this is a good time for you and Paul to get to know each other, because there is certainly a good connection there. So in terms of my share, I am able to also start the International World Builders Association. We're having a meeting tomorrow, and I actually spoke to Randall Lane yesterday, who's a former mayor of the city of Marietta, and he has actually worked for the Washington D.C. for 3 years under Donald Trump's administration, running the transportation department. But he's back in the city of Marietta, and he's doing real estate land development projects in the city of Marietta, which is really interesting.
Wow.
Because I didn't know that. So now we're connected because of this International World Builders Association. He's going to be in tomorrow's meeting. And Jim, I think you should go and check it out too. We starts at 5:30 p.m. And then the International World Builder, we're also talking about doing it online, where we can have it on New York and Chicago and also in Arizona. And there's so many things that we're doing. And I partner with Curtis Doss on this one. So I think, there's definitely a lot of things to celebrate and to be, excited about with all the things that we're doing. And Paul, actually, I work with Paul on his project, and I've connected him to a couple of big investors. And by the way, Paul, Michael was actually haunting me about, your information, and said, when is Paul going to be available? I've got this guy already.
Yeah, I'll be talking to you guys after that meeting Monday. And by the way, is Mike from California, or where's he from?
He's from New York.
New York. That's what it was. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
So anyway, that is my share. We have 5 minutes, get some feedback. Jim, what did you think about our meeting today?
Well, other than I would like to have seen more people, that's obvious, right? But
Yes.
it's fine. I mean, it's more than just fine. What's great about it is, it's intimate, right? We get to talk more with each other, and unfortunately, Jennifer couldn't spend more time with us, but it allows us to go deeper in the relationships rather than spreading it across more people. So, and I'm glad to see how you've grown the organization, Marie, to reach into, all the way into New Mexico.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes you were covering the entire US. Remember, Paul, we had somebody from
Yes.
East Coast, from the West Coast. It's like so funny how that's why we always have, where are you from? What city are you in?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I have to tell you, I spent 12 days backpacking in New Mexico back in 2019.
Really?
You
Fantastic.
know where the Philmont Scout Ranch is? It's out of Cimarron.
No, I can't say that I do, Jim. I don't, I've only been to, let's see, Jemez. I've hiked the mountain, this one behind me, but no, I still have to get to know places. I mean, I've been to Santa Fe, Albuquerque, but
Yeah, this is sort of east of Taos, like on the other side of the Rockies.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cimarron. We took the train from Riverside to get there.
Oh,
Because
my
it's so
goodness.
far from Albuquerque that, you could land in Albuquerque, but you still have to get, a 4-hour bus ride or something. So, but it's right on so there's Cimarron is right on the plains. Right, kind of like Denver's
Wow.
on the plains,
Oh,
and then,
yeah,
and then
yes.
you have the Rockies
Mhm.
over here, and that's where we're just beautiful, beautiful country.
That
Beautiful
must have been
country.
a beautiful train ride too, right?
Oh, it was cool. Yeah, we left at like 6:30 in the evening, and then it was dark, and then we were sort of like mid Arizona when the sun came up, and then seeing all the, the rock formations and the
Oh,
colors, and
my word,
oh, it was
yes.
just, and you get to get up and walk around and go have a beer,
Oh,
go have breakfast. It was a really
how
fun way
many
to travel.
hours were you on the train, if
It
I
was
could ask?
about, I think it was about 18 or 20 hours or something like that.
Wow,
And I
yeah,
think we left at
wow.
6:30 and we got there about 4, something like that the next day.
Incredible. That's
Yeah, it was great.
awesome.
By the
Great.
way, before we move on to Paul for his feedback, Jim, all of these recordings are in the activity log in Fire Connect website.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
if you wanted to watch some of the previous meetings, they're all there.
Okay, great.
You go to my activity log and you'll see all the videos.
Okay.
And it's again, I love listening back to it because it reminds me of my conversation with them, and then I try to get back to them. And you know what, Paul, I did? I actually went back to some of those recordings, and then I started connecting them with them again. Hey,
Really?
I said, we met, and because there's so many people, right? But
Right.
I only have so much time so going back to the recordings, I'm able to review my conversation and start calling them again, and I'm able to get some few more schedules for me just by
Very
back
nice.
to the recordings.
Mhm.
Go.
Okay. All right. So what's your feedback, Paul, on our meeting?
I think this one in particular, or just all of them?
Just one.
Oh, yeah, this is fantastic. I think I was just thinking it is a shame that that we didn't have a big audience, but I think with technology these days, you could always have it as a recording. This would be fantastic if there's a big group
Yes.
and the subject of leadership, and then you could record this and share it, Marie. I know that later on in time, I'd even love to interview you, Jim, on the Real Men of Real Estate, because I think this is an important topic, any business, but real estate too, since it is a people business, and there's so much that you have to be up to date with nowadays, that you need strong leadership talent, and
Yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Mhm,
I agree with that. And plus, Jim has worked with real estate brokers.
mhm.
So, he understands the business in terms of what they need to do as part of their, program and projects. So that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
certainly a need for, not a need for leadership, but leadership is required to be successful in that business.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, my
because
goodness.
it's not easy.
Okay.
No.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jim. Thank you, Paul. And
Yes.
if again, look at the have you guys received the newsletter by any chance? Because we just put that out also last Friday, or
Does that go out to the
yesterday,
emails?
I think it was yesterday or Monday. It went out. It's a newsletter.
Does that get emailed to us,
Yes.
or?
It's
Oh, okay,
all the members.
I don't think I did receive that.
You never did? What about
mm,
you, Jim?
I got
I'd have to
something.
look. Let's see.
I don't recall seeing it. Nope.
No? I'll have to, what email do you have?
I'm
signed?
using Finest Women in Real Estate.
No, but what email,
Oh, mine?
yeah, do you have registered on the Fire Up Connect?
Well, it would
That's
be,
where it's going to whatever.
yeah, it would be Jim at Effective Action Consulting. That would be the only one I would use.
Okay. I'll check with my website guy because it was out, and I'm surprised that you didn't get it, because it was announced there that you're also speaking here today.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it didn't go out, and that's why people didn't attend.
It went out because it came to me too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
When did it come out, Marie?
Let me see. It was. And it says it's a spring, this site does not have this. I have to check, let me see. Newsletter. Okay, I have to find it and I'll forward it to both of you.
Okay,
and
yeah,
see,
that would be
if I can see it
fantastic.
right now with my phone. Okay,
And that would be in Fire Up Connect, or?
yeah, it should be automatically straight Fire Up Connect to a newsletter, and it should say this spring update.
Okay,
Okay, so
great.
I have contact information, Jim. You guys have saved the chat? Make
I
sure you
did, yes, I did.
Okay. And connect, definitely connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Jim, it was awesome to hear you. This was important. Fantastic. I think this is what I needed to hear right now. But
That's
anyway,
great.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to connecting further with you. So we'll get something set up here. Okay.
fantastic. And you're on LinkedIn, right, Jim?
I am. I'm looking at your
Okay.
profile right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay, fantastic. That
So
sounds
we'll
great.
connect that way.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Great.
Thank you,
Well,
Jim. Keep up the
Thank
great
you.
work.
Thank you, Marie.
all right. You take,
Marie, you're awesome. Thank you very much.
Paul, are you watching the IWBA tomorrow night?
You know what?
The
Give me
link.
one moment. I do, let me look at my agenda, because I know I have something coming up tomorrow. Yeah, that's at, isn't that at 5:30 Pacific
Yes,
time? Or-
yes.
Yeah, I have it here. Yes, I have
Okay.
it here.
All right.
Tomorrow is Wednesday, yeah. Mhm.
All right. I'll see you then. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
We'll
Bye.
see you guys. Bye
Bye-bye.
now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.